All right, we'll take a look at this review packet for Unit 1 and Unit 2. It says solve for L given P equals 2L plus 2W. So I want to get this by itself. So I can take this to the other side. What's it going to be? Minus, oh, I guess I should make space. So it'll be negative, so P minus 2W equals 2L. Then how do I get L by itself? I divide by what? 2. If you divide by 2, you divide everything by 2. That cancels, this cancels as well. So I have either P over 2 minus W equals L, which, let's see, do I have one of those? Minus W, right there. So the answer is B. Okay. You could also see this written as, just in case you get one of these questions, let me go back to this step here. You could divide this by 2 individually, or you could divide the whole thing by 2. So sometimes you'll see it written like this, sometimes you'll see it written like this. It's the exact same thing. All right, number 2. Expand. All this means is go ahead and get in the house. I like doing the box method, so I'm gonna do the box method. X minus 5 is the first one, and this one is x plus 6. And you do x times x is x squared. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. X times 6 is 6x. Negative 5 times 6 is negative 30. And you combine like terms. So it's going to be x squared. And then you got positives meeting negatives. What's going to happen? They're going to fight. Who wins? Positive wins because they have more people by 1. So I can write 1x, so I can write x, and then minus 30. So which one is that? B. All right, number 3. Find the perimeter of the figure below. So what does perimeter mean? Remember when you hear the movies, what you see them doing? They go around the whole shape. So we're going to go around this whole shape and just add everything. So go around and add everything. So I'm going to say 9x minus 10 plus x squared plus 4 plus 2x squared. Okay? And for ease of reference, I'm just going to put boxes. Do not forget the symbol with the squared terms. Don't forget the symbol. I'm going to put circles with the x terms. Don't forget the symbol. And I'm going to put triangles with the numbers. Everything is together. So let's combine the boxes. I've got positive meets positive. So what's going to happen? More positives. So x squared plus 2x squared is 3x squared. All right, so that's these boxes done. Then I'm going to do the circle, which is a positive 9x. That's done. Then I have just the numbers. We've got a negative meeting a positive. So what's going to happen? They're going to fight. Who's going to win that fight? The negatives are going to win. By how many? By 6. Find that answer for me. So that's going to be A. All right, Becca's using a sheet of scrapbook paper with the width, okay, of x inches and a length of 2x. So this is x width and length is 2x. She cut off 1 inch, both the length. So here's the length. She cut off 1. So if she cuts off 1, this new length is going to be that 2x minus 1, right? So she cut that piece off. Both the length and the width. So she also cut off 1 on the width because she's going to cut that off. So basically this and this is gone. So my new rectangle is 2x minus 1 is the length and x minus 1 is the width. What is the area in inches? Well, the area is base length times width. So I have 2x minus 1. And again, I'm always going to do the box. X minus 1. So 2x times x is 2x squared. Negative 1 times x is negative x. 2x minus 1 is negative 2x. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Combine like terms there. So we're going to get 2x squared. And then you got negative meets negative. What's going to happen? They're going to become more in numbers. So that's going to be negative 3x. And then you have just the 1 here. So 2x squared minus 3x plus 1, which is C. All right, number 5, evaluate this for f of negative 3. Remember, what is this negative 3? What letter is it? It means x. That means wherever I see x, I'm going to put negative 3. So I see x right there. So it's going to be 2, negative 3, because I see an x, minus 5. So 2 times negative 3 is negative 6 minus 5. Negative meets negative. What happens? They become more in number, so more negatives, and they're 11 in total. So C is that answer. right, Trina and Robert are making cookies for their friends. They spent $10 on ingredients and is using the recipe that costs $1 to make a whole cookie. Okay, Robert has $14 to spend using a recipe for jumbo cookies and costs $2.50 to make a whole cookie. Which graph shows the amount of money Trina would have left and the amount of money Robert would have left depending on the number of cookies they made? Okay, so Trina has $10. So I'm just gonna write a couple of notes. Trina has $10. Robert has 14. All right, Trina, $1 per cookie. And Robert is $2.50 per cookie. Which graph? Okay, so basically what they're saying is to make a cookie is gonna be $1. Oh, sorry, I didn't write that down. To make a cookie is gonna be $1 for Trina, and for Robert, it's gonna be $2.50. So every time it's gonna change by $1, this one's gonna change by $2.50 until you get to $14, and for Trina until you get to $10. So which graph shows the amount of money Trina will have left and the amount of money Robert will have left, depending on the number of cookies that they made? Okay, so let's take a look at our answers. Okay, so do you agree that the more cookies that they make, the less money they have? Because she has $10, she has 14. They're not getting any more money. This is how much they have. And the question is how much money they have left after they're making their cookies. So for every cookie Trina makes, she loses $1. So if she made one cookie, she has now $9 left. So there's no way the graph should be increasing the dollar amount. So as the number of cookies goes up, there's no way that you're getting more money because you have to spend the money. So none of these graphs that are going up can be the answer. So it can't be that one and it cannot be this one. So these are your two options, okay? Next thing we look at is Trina starts at $10. So there's a graph that starts at $10. The graph starts at $10. That's fine. All right, this one starts at $14. That's fine, and that's fine. Okay, so that's okay. Trina's cookies are probably the easiest ones to calculate. So let's just figure. $10, she'll make 10 cookies. Right, so she should make, when hers is 0, Trina should have 10 cookies. That's true. If this is Trina because she starts at 10. When she gets down to 0 and she spends all $10, she should have 10 cookies because it's just $1. So that's true. Let's check to see if C has that same graph. Yes, Trina, because she starts at 10, should have 10 cookies. No. So that answer has to be B. I don't even have to look at Robert's cookies. All right, Viviet has 5 pets, all of which are either birds or cats. Her pets have a total of 14 legs. Okay, so when I add her, let's see. Okay, so birds have 2. Okay, that's what it is. All right, so how many legs do birds have? 2. So 2B plus how many legs do cats have? They have 4. C is equal to a total legs of 14. Okay, that's one equation. Also, she has a total of 5 pets. So when you take her birds plus her cats, it has to equal 5. All right, so okay, so these are the two equations I'm looking for then. B plus C is 5, 2B plus 4C is 14, so that answer is C. Okay, so you just have to write an equation talking about this word problem. All right, a steamboat travels upstream against the current at a speed of 9 miles an hour. Later, it travels downstream at the current speed at 17 miles per hour. Choose a system of equations that can be solved to find the speed of the steamboat X and the speed of the current Y. All right, so upstream, so because we're going upstream, we're going against the force, so it's going to be subtraction. So it's going to be the speed minus the current is going to give me the 9 miles an hour. When I'm coming downstream, I'm going with the current, so I'm going to be adding it. So the speed plus the current is going to give me 17 miles an hour. And what answer is that? That answer is D. Okay, so these word problems, you just got to read them. Number 9, Tyrone is solving the equation below. Which of the following would be the best first step? Okay, so best first step. All right, so basically, look at it. What would you do? Oh, I would probably combine these numbers, right? So 3 plus 9, and then distribute that in there instead of distributing every single number. Or I'd also multiply these two. So I'm looking for that kind of answer. So apply distributive law for multiplication and subtraction to obtain. Let's see, what did they do? Well, that's not true. No, I'm not going to multiply each individual thing. I'm not going to do that. Apply the associative property to obtain. What does she do here? Yeah, I'm not doing that either. Move all the terms with constants to one side of the equation to obtain. Also, you want to move this here? No, I'm not doing that. Simplify the equation by combining like terms. I'm doing that. So that's going to be 3 plus 9 is 12. Yep, that's what I'm doing. So D would be the first step. Okay, so remember the question is best. This does not mean it's wrong. It just says which one the best is. All right, number 10. Leonardo and Asia are solving an equation, blah, blah, blah. The results of the first steps are here. Okay, which student's taken the better first step and why? Okay, so what did Leonardo do? Oh, he distributed. Look, Leonardo went this times this, and then that times that, and then this times this times. That's too much. Asia, what did she do? Oh, good, she did this. She subtracted, she combined like terms. So Asia would be the best step because she combined like terms first. So let's see what answer that is. Which is really the same question as the one before. So Asia, because she simplified the numbers involved in the equation. Perfect. B. All right, number 11. Given y equals negative 2x plus 5, identify the steps needed to graph the line. Okay, so what do you do first? If you were graphing this, you would start at 5, put your point, and then you'd go down 2 and write 1, right? Graph another point and draw in your line. So that's what I'm looking for here. Plot the y-intercept of negative 5. No, because it's positive 5. So it's not that one, it's not that one, it's not that one, it's this one. So D. And then use the slope of negative 2. Number 12, find the slope of y-intercept of this equation. Find the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, so we need to make this look y equals mx plus b. But maybe we can kind of... All right, so how do I do that? First, I need to detach this from this equation, right? So I need to multiply by 2, multiply by 2. This crosses out with this because this whole line is covered by this. So now I have 2x plus 10 equals 2y. And then, oh, I'm tripping. Why am I making this harder? My bad. Okay. Well, I guess I'm just going to turn it back. I want y equals, right? So I'm going to divide by 2, but I'm going to individually divide it by 2. So that's going to give me 10 divided by 2, which is 5. And then that's going to go, so that's going to be x plus 5 equals y. So y equals x plus 5, which is an invisible what? 1 right there. So my slope is positive 5, which is any one of these three answers, and my y-intercept is positive 5, and my slope is 1. Slope is 1. So D. Really, I didn't need to do that. From here, this divided by 2 means you're dividing this by 2 and this by 2. That's what that means. So if you could do it right from here, so 2x divided by 2 would give me just x, and then 10 divided by 2 would give me 5. So it'd still be the same thing. All right, number 13, you want to model the speed of a motorcycle. Which units would be appropriate for this quantity, motorcycle. Well, think about a car. What do you usually do? It's not going to be kilometers per mile. How does that even make sense? That's like measuring the same thing. Miles and kilometers is depend on the country. So here we do miles. In different countries, they do kilometers. So it can't be that one. Minutes per hour, it can't be that. That's the same unit. Okay, so it can't be that or that. Hours per meter, it's never, time is always after the per. So it's not that, it has to be B. Kilometers per hour. You're used to seeing miles per hour, but in other countries, they use kilometers. Number 14, which of the expressions is equivalent to this? So looks like if I take this to the bottom, so remember negative properties, negative exponents. If I want to make this, if I want to take this to the bottom, all I would do is take it to the bottom and change the sign of the, or the symbol of the exponent. So this is the same as this, because remember, if I want to take it to the top, I would make it positive, so it'd be 9x to the 5. All right, number 15, James' parents start him with a base allowance of 20 a week. He also gets, so 20 a week, so he has $20 plus a set amount per chore for each chore he completes. Okay, so then after 5 chores, he has 60. So he gets a base allowance of $20, all right? Then he does a chore for each chore he completes. He gets a set amount for each chore he finishes. When he finishes 5, he has $60. But remember, out of this 60, 20 was what he gets every week anyway. So basically, after he does 5 chores, he has an additional $40. So each chore is 40 divided by 5 is 8. All right, so he gets $8 for every chore. So for the total amount he gets a week, so the total is going to be the $20 he initially gets, right? Because he gets that every week. For every chore he completes, he gets 8, and then times the number of chores that he does, because it is set. So what's that going to be? D. Number 16, solve the equation for y. All right, so 3x minus 4y equals 12. Go ahead and draw my river. We're making y the subject, so let's take 3x to the other side. It's going to be negative 3x. So we have negative 4y equals negative 3x plus 12, because we can't combine this, because this has an x, this doesn't. Divide by negative 4. So y equals, negative divided by negative is a positive, so 3 over 4x, and then positive 12 divided by, or positive divided by a negative is a negative. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So positive 3 over 4 minus 3, so C. All right, number 17, solve for that. Wow, okay. There's a lot of work. Let's write it. All right, I'm gonna do it and write it here, or here actually, so I can have a little space. So I have 9, and then I'm gonna distribute this. So what's it gonna give me? Negative 3x, then negative times positive is also negative 12, equals, distribute this, 2x, distribute that, minus 6, and then minus that 8. All right, let's take numbers to one side, letters, variables to the other side. I'm gonna take this to the other side because it's going to make my variables positive. So I'm going to put plus 3x over here. Okay, all my circles to the other side. So I'm going to take this to that side. It's going to be plus 6. That to that side is going to be plus 8. So I have, combining all this, I'll do all the positives first. 9 plus 6 is 15. 15 plus 8 is 23. 23 minus 12. 23 minus 12 is 11, equals 2 plus 3 is 5x, so divide by 5, so x equals, and because it's a decimal, I guess I'll do it in the calculator. 11 divided by 5, 2.2, so A. All right, solve for the following. Man, we hate fractions, right? So what do we do with fractions? Get rid of them. So the first thing I'm going to do is just multiply everything by what? By 5. So I can get rid of this fraction. Now, because it's attached to this, I don't need to multiply inside here. But I do need to multiply that. Because this is going to cancel with this, I'm going to have 4, and then 10a plus 5 equals negative 20 times 5, which is negative 100. And then I'm going to go ahead and distribute, which is 40a plus 20 equals negative 100. Then take this to the other side, it's going to be negative 20. So 40a equals negative 120 divided by 40. 12 divided by 4 is 3, so a equals negative 3. Now, faster than doing that is plugging it in. So I'll just show you with just the answer, since I know what the answer is. But you would just plug this into the calculator, whichever one equals negative 20. So how do I put a fraction? Every time I put in a fraction, I'm going to put it in parentheses, so 4 over 5. And then I'm going to open another parenthesis, and then I have to do this multiplication or whatever I think. So I'm going to do that in parentheses again, so 10 times, and I think it's negative 3. Make sure you use negative and not subtraction. So that takes care of that, plus the 5. and then close the parentheses. And if that's equal to -20, then I'm right. All right, Pedro works at Kroger for $7.50 an hour. He wants to save for an iPad that costs at least $475, which inequality at least means, okay, you have to get at least that. Which inequality accurately describes how many hours a week he must have. Okay, so he makes $7.50 per 1 hour. Okay, so this however many works. And he has to make at least $475, which means it could be more. So I'm gonna say it's greater than or equal to, because he has to make at least. So yeah, so it's greater than or equal to 475. All right, so then how do I solve for x? I divide both sides by $7.50. And you just put that in the calculator. X is greater than or equal to 475 divided by $7.50, 63.3 repeating. All right, which 63.3 repeating. Okay. Now, it has to be at least this. It can't be anything less. So 62 can't be 62 because it has to be at least 63.3. It can be this, okay, because it's greater than, so this is a possibility. It cannot be less than, and it cannot be equal to 63 because it has to be greater than or equal to 63.3. So the answer there would be B. All right, does the graph represent a function? All right, so remember, you can do the vertical line test. Is there anywhere where these lines cross at more than one point? No. So is this a function? Yes. What is the domain? So domain is the x, range is the y. So looking at the x value, what's the smallest? From 0 to 18. From 0 to 18. And then what's the range? The range is from the bottom of the graph to the top. So from 0 to 10. I guess you should write it like this, actually. After how many seconds are you furthest from your math class? So this is time, this is distance. So this is the furthest. So you're, what, 10 meters away at what, how many seconds? At 6. So how many seconds are you furthest from your math at 6? Really 6 to 11. How long do you stay there? From 6 to 11, I stay there for 5 seconds. And that's it.